So again, Hugh, Roddy, I've been with Chobani for almost 4 years. I've been doing controls and automation for almost 20 years. It's been a very interesting just over four, almost 4.5 years with Chobani. We've come a long way. Chobani's 10 years old, but it's really in the last 5 years that really Chobani has taken off. Hamda Yulakai, who you saw on the last slide, his goal was to produce 55,000 cases of yogurt a year as a business. We now produce around 2.4 million cases a week. We have another malfunction. Anyway, I'll just keep going. So we produce around 2.4 million cases a week. The plant in New Berlin, New York is where it really started. And actually, just for a first disclaimer, I probably speak 10 times faster than Jeff. I'm from Ireland originally and moved here in 2001. So if anyone doesn't understand me, please tell me to stop and repeat it a lot slower. I met my wife in Ireland and she imported me back here back in 2001. So, you know, Chobani's grown. Here you have the plant in Twin Falls, Idaho. We opened that up in December 2012. We built it in 326 days from the first shovel in the ground to producing the first product off the line. It's one of the fastest design builds ever done in the United States and in the world. We've already expanded that plant extensively, and we're in the process of expanding it again here in the coming 6 months to launch some new platforms that are coming out on the market. You know, when I take a look back, the original plant that Chobani had was a 1920s plant. It had old Siemens S5, it had some Modicon, it has some of the earlier S7 Siemens series. The majority of the stuff at Chobani is all Rockwell based. So we wanted to take a whole new approach. You know, if you look at this is sort of standard network, and I suppose IOT convergence is such a big topic for us at the moment. I had the head of IT in our plant, and he said he wanted to come in and take over our network. So you can imagine the conversations that have been going on for the last couple of weeks at Chobani on many different levels. The majority of people from an IT perspective, that's what they see about the process system on the bottom floor. They don't know an awful lot about it. You know, and this is maybe a disclaimer to any IT people in the room, because the last time I stood on the stage, I had a CIO sitting next to me, and I sort of made the same statement, and they came back and laughed at me, and they completely disagreed. And I know it's an ever-changing world, and there's many different ways to do things. We took a slightly different approach. Picture on the left, I joined Chobani in 2011, and I was probably there less than a week, and one of the IT guys says, "Oh, you're the new guy in charge of the process network. Can you come down? I need to land a couple of RJ45 connections." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So when I went down to the room, I looked in, he picks up a stick off the ground and grabs the end of the RJ45 and tries to thread it through this bird's nest of cables. I was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, if I touch any of those cables, I'm going to knock the network off. I'll shut the process down." I laughed at him. I said, "Don't be ridiculous. Give me the cable." And I reach in, I plug in that port into one of the ports, and I see all the lights just. I took the whole Chobani business down, and I'm like, "Mother of God, what am I going to do?" They were like a whole set of stacked switches, and my whole reasoning for discussing this is the whole legacy systems and Internet of Things and everything we hear about big data. Everybody wants instant data at their fingertips, whether it's down on the floor or whether it's at your business desk, and whether it's the CEO of the company. They want data. They want data now. They want it real time. They want it at their fingertips. So we decided we would take. You can see that's where we finished with when I literally took the system pushing forward. Now, this is just an example. We put Hirschman switches into all our networks. I completely segregated the IT level, because that old bird's nest had VLAN all the process, but it had all our phones, it had all our emails, it had everything. And then for a good while it kept until we got that new network in. We'd have the plant go, if IT did an upgrade to a PC or server or switch, we took down the process. Now the process stays running 24/7. We have no issues at all. I'm 200% confident in the process network that we put in. There's many other different technologies out there. We chose Hirschman. We've got 1 gigabit fibre optic hyperlink. And the other thing to consider is the plant at Twin Falls is now 1.4 million square feet. When we went out to some of the large integrators and they want to bid on this project, they come back to me with an architecture of 4 or 5 switches stacked like that. He says, I don't think you realise the size of this project. It's a quarter of a mile to get to the end of the plant. You can't run an Ethernet cable a quarter of a mile. So we have to break this out into Ethernet switch networks across the plant. So you go back, you've got unmanaged networks in the majority of places that you have no diagnostics. People come back and ask you, well, what are the IP addresses? We want to put our IP addresses in. We took a totally different approach. We now manage the process controls networks independent, but we talk seamlessly together and we have a very good relationship with IT. Probably up to a week ago ourselves, but we'll figure that one out. People talk again about the data, instant productivity, maintain productivity on the line, efficiencies, KPIs, where can we do quick changeovers, and then meeting and exceeding the regulatory demands, which is huge for us. I have many slides, so I'm going to fly through some of them. So the goal for us was to look the same, feel the same across a different board. One of the key points that we had was picking the right vendor and solution provider and software. From my estimation, and my belief is that not one solution provider can give us everything we need in the modern day. We need to leverage the best of both worlds from all the different solution providers. So, and I'll show you some of the stuff that we actually did. So, we put in solid networks, solid communications. We chose a process automation network solution provider that can give us not just the HMI, the PLCs and everything else, that would allow us to integrate the old legacy systems, maybe not through the PLC, but bring it right up into the HMI platform. I mean, the modern solutions that you can get these days with Ignition, one of the key ones is Ignition for us. I mean, we've literally changed the whole view from a mobile data analytics perspective and how we can put data right onto people's fingertips. Rockwell have some magnificent solutions, but that's on a PAX HMI platform level. I mean, so they all intertwine a lot, but we've chosen a lot of different ones, brought them all together into what we call our Chobani dashboard. Internal resources and vendor relations. I mean, it's a very key factor. It's not about what the system that you put in or the legacy system that you bring forward. It's about the support that you're going to get after the fact that it's gone in. I mean, we put many projects in. It took us a while to realize that the amount of training and the cost of training is not about the money you spend, it's about the time that you spend doing it. Some people need training over and over and over again. And we invest a lot of time in that. It doesn't matter what we're going to spend. It's critical to our success. So as you can see, we chose, there's a lot of different vendors and suppliers out there. I've done some Schneider stuff over the years. I did an awful lot of stuff at ABB. Again, I've been in controls and automation for almost 20 years. I was general manager of a systems integration company, so I know what it takes to put a control system in from initial conception and the whole project life cycle of the system. So today we're growing and accelerating very fast. Chobani is about to launch some brand new platforms in the coming months. It's very exciting for us, it's exciting times. Our new Flip product has expanded exponentially, and we're expanding the plant again in Twin Falls and growing it. We're still forever growing our managed network. Again, to me, putting a legacy system, and I know you talk about trying to keep things, Jeff spoke about keeping things, not putting on a network. It's expensive at times to put in a brand new network, to tie things in. I'll still always stand fast to any IT people there that I want to keep the two separate, but I want them to talk seamlessly together, and they do. We leverage the power of some of the main suppliers that are out there. We added the ability and flexibility of traditional systems that are there. We want to bring everything. It's not to say that we don't use it. I'll show you on a few slides later on from an energy management perspective of what we actually did in terms of, people want to put in an energy system where they've all legacy systems and they want to get the energy utilization from them, efficiencies, the costing and everything. For us, it's about the cost of pound per product in terms of what it costs to make that. And I'm going to show you what we did in terms of virtual metering. Again, tying everything together. It's about the IoT and OT convergence of it. Here's some of the dashboards that we have on the floor with some of the software systems. That's a company called Zarpac, which we also used. And then business, enterprise, and IT perspective, we wanted to take some of the tools that are up. We chose Microsoft Dynamics a long time back for our ERP system. Whether it's right or wrong, it's has had its challenges from the very start. People say, why aren't you SAP? Where have you got something else? And it took us the time to learn the downsides of some things, but no software you're going to come in is going to be green. As I say to people when they find to go to a new company, it's brown on both sides of the fence. It's somewhat the same when you take a new piece of software on board. It's going to have some downsides to it that you need to migrate, work with your teams, work with your solution provider to make it happen. We've done that successfully with so many different companies today. Here we have what we refer to as our Chodash. So we wanted to link all our plants. So Chobani has the plant in Twin Falls, Idaho. We have a plant in the home of Chobani is in South Ed, New York, just outside of Syracuse. And then we opened the plant in Melbourne, Australia in June 2012, the same year we opened up the plant in Twin Falls. They all talk, we put ignition systems in on the top level from more of a supervisory board for everything to talk together. We put in what we call our Chodash for our Chobani dashboard. But no matter where I am, I can bring my phone up, I can look at the Chodash in Australia, in New York, or Idaho. When we started our projects on the floor, you can't have HMIs on every single line of the floor. We're going to have 17 lines in Twin Falls running here within the coming months. We started up the pouch line, if anybody knows the product, the kids' pouches and everything that's on the market. When we started that lineup, I mean, our process and all our fruit systems and dosing systems and batching is all upstairs, but all the operators downstairs were like, kept running back to the control room, which is, there's 2 control rooms, but it's still a run back. The plant is 1.4 million square feet. I was like, instantaneous, how can we get the data on our fingertips? So we brought up their little tablets, their cell phones, all linked to our internal wireless system that we have. We was able to access that. We gave them access to the tanks and the batching systems upstairs. It took us less than half an hour to link all that together. We didn't have to install any software. We used the browsers, whether it was a Windows tablet, whether it was Safari on an iOS system. We linked them all together. We gave them access to that data. People want to see it. The people in New York currently sit, I'll go back to a screen, and they look, here's one of our lines. We've put in large screens above all our packaging lines. We've linked the AX system, or ERP system, down onto the plant floor. We want to empower people from the floor up, as opposed to not just from the top down. We want to drive solutions, results with our operators, have them all involved. Everybody's got a piece of the pie here. And that's a lot of the reason for our success and how well we've done here over the last 5 years, 6 years. So we link in our ERP system. They start everything from the ERP, the batches come up on the line. We wanted to go with a simplistic approach. I mean, simple dashboards. I mean, here when you touch down, you click into the process, I can see all the main graphics. So we open it up to everybody to see it. When we go to CIP, and I got this from a conference I was at 2 years ago, the 2 CIP screens on the far side. I mean, just simplistic graphics is all you need to make a huge change on the floor from your operations perspective. Now when it goes into CIP, that tank starts emptying and we want to see the line come back up, whether it's 4 hours or 6 hours. And then once the tank starts going red, the operator's like, hell, I better get my acid gear and get that system back up and running. But we've seen a huge increase in productivity on the floor with just simplistic changes on the floor. We've brought in some of our energy management system. Using Ignition, we were able to take the benefit of some of the legacy systems that were there that maybe we didn't want to go in and put another server in, as Jeff got at. We pulled dashboards up onto the floor. This is actually from a system called ISIS Plant Energy. ISIS software systems out of Europe. And they've got a technology for virtual metering. And it's not just some people here think of virtual meters, adding a whole lot of meters together. We actually use the power of the historian or the process historian that's within the plant. We know when a motor was turned on or off. We know when a control valve was open or closed. So through thermodynamics and everything else, we've calculated energy analytics across the whole plant, from power, water, gas, you name it. This is a look at some of the tanks. This screen looks, for me, it looks a little cluttered, but it's very pertinent to the operators and the individuals that use it. They know where the data's been sent. This screen, through building a module, was thrown together probably in 1 hour by one of our senior automation engineers and deployed in a matter of seconds. And every single person on the plant floor had it. When I looked last week, we had 92 clients online looking at this Chobani dashboard, just in Twin Falls alone, across the plant. And on that screen way back, we have people that make business decisions on cutting short a patch order. So our main corporate office in Soho, New York, they'll actually make decisions on cutting the batch order short based on some changes that have happened, and we can instantaneously advise people accordingly. So the IT departments were in charge of our line side labeling. They came to us, and because it's still separate and everything's interlinked, they wanted to say, well, how can we get this data at our fingertips? We want to see it. It was part of a line side labeling project that we did just over a year ago. But just some simple screens together has changed their ways and their methodologies of thinking on how to bring things together. Again, we're trying to take everything from the ground all the way to the top. We pull all the PLCs into this system. And I've got a lot of dashboards. I just want to give you a feel for it and what we've done and how we've gone about it. We pull all our PLCs in. And the other thing is giving the data to a maintenance person. Jeff, you brought up about trying to make things simpler for the maintenance people that we have, which is very true. You put in a high-level process network on your OT side, then do I need IT people to be able to maintain and manage it? No, we want the maintenance people. So I don't want our senior automation people getting calls at 4 o'clock in the morning when the maintenance person can click onto a screen and he can tell straight away if the network's down or it's up. And it's saved them. They got a lot more sleep as a result of it, our automation people did. So the people that are on shift can tell if there's an issue with the network as opposed to coming back to us. Let's put the data at people's fingertips. Again, we did this for some of our main switches. We've also then since taken in all the Dell stuff. So because we've partnered somewhat with our IT department, we've taken some of their servers down onto our floor. We're running a whole lot of different tests at present. And we're bringing their data in, so it's helping them from people giving them IT calls and everything overnight in the middle of the night. This is our CapEx system. So we had someone originally, they didn't go off, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, they built an access database. So we pretty quickly took the whole access database and we brought it into Ignition. So everyone on their phone, on their tablets, on their iPhones have access, and we probably have 135 projects going on all at once at present. So we have a lot of people working together, a lot of projects in the works, but all the data is instantaneous. Our people in Soho can get access to that. They don't have to call for reports, we roll the reports out for it. So we rolled all this into Ignition also. Again, bring everything. Manuals for maintenance. We now go out to the floor. We've given all our maintenance people a tablet. We put a barcode on the machine. When they go into a particular page on the Ignition show dash, and they scan the barcode, all the documents come up for that piece of equipment, every piece of it. So they can scroll through. They don't have to go off looking for a manual that's lost. When we start the projects, we request all the manuals and documentation in a certain format, and it's put in a location, and it's immediately before the project's commissioned and final and signed off on. They can scan a barcode and pull up all the documentation for that stuff. And then our management of change process. It's relatively new for us. You try and push a management of change process across a large facility like Twin Falls, and we have 1,200 people working at the facility. Small changes can make huge impacts on your production. So we decided, how can we get this without management, without an email chain passing from one person to the next to the next? So we put it all into people's fingertips. They can't come back and say they didn't get the email, they didn't get the phone call. Now we know exactly who has it when they have it. It's just an example of that. Embedded reports, everything's embedded in it. We don't have to go to paper reports anymore. We're trying to get rid of paper reports altogether. We've got a separate system where we switch to electronic paper and electronic chart recording. All that's interlinked into our OT. It's all on our OT side. It's interlinked right up into the IT side. So we've got rid of the paper trail. Probably a year and a half ago, we had the quality department. They'd have 96 sheets in one plant and 120 sheets. And the next day you'd have 2 to 4 people taking all those sheets to put them into one Excel spreadsheet. What's the need for that in the modern day? It's all there, the data's there, let them put it electronically into a system, they can electronically sign it, it's all for the pertinent pieces of areas of the plant, it's CA 421 part 11 compliant. So the reports that are coming out of it are pleasing our inspectors. It doesn't eliminate chart recorders or anything like that, we still need that from a data perspective to follow PMO and so forth. I'm going to just flick through a couple of quick slides on this. We had a system for energy management. I'll go through the domain. You know, leveraging the power of your process historian. You know, people take an energy meter. We've saved around $1.8 million in the last few years by implementing this system. You know, you want to put in an energy meter today, it's probably, if it's a flow meter, you're talking $15,000 to $25,000 for the flow meter. You're talking the downtime to put that meter in, depending on the area of the plant, the electrical and mechanical installation of that meter, and then the programming to tie it all together. So we said, let's leverage the power of our process historian. I can create a virtual meter and have it running within 5 minutes. From that, I'm just going to go forward to here. This system came built with all the Sankey charts, 88 probably set reports already there. We were able to backfill from the day that the process historian went in 4 years ago. So I was instantaneously able to get an energy map across the plant. I didn't have to go back to some of the old meters or say, no, I don't, from this we don't eliminate metering. But what it does, it gives us a very clear indication of where a physical meter needs to be in the plant. And it's not just from an energy perspective, from a process perspective. We might see the advantages of being able to measure flow, steam, water flow in certain areas. That's a couple of our separators. We do heat charts for energy consumption across the board. And then we've all these set reports, and the operators, our whole goal is to empower people from the plant floor. So all our operators are engaged in this energy management process that we have. They come in, they write reports, we give them KPIs and some targets to gain, and we reward them accordingly as such. So we saved around 1.8 million on this project. We're aiming like a 15% reduction in energy and carbon emissions over the next 12 to 18 months. And I think we're well on target at this stage. You know, overall, where we are today, I mean, the important thing is our business and our customers. At the end of the day, for us, the most important thing is that every single cup of yogurt that goes out the door. We found a good way to have 2 separate independent networks, but still keeping seamlessly talking together between the business side, IT, and the process OT side. There will be challenges, there are challenges, but leveraging and sticking with some of your main partners will give you the best of both worlds.